RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, where's the button? Button. Hello, guys. Can you hear me? What's going on? Let me see. All right, guys. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, JD. Nice to see you, Josie. Nice. Thank you for jumping in, being the first ones in the chat room over at youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster. Sorry I'm late. I'm a little tired. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a show, but Robyn said that she would do it with me, so she's on the air right now. Thank you, Jim. We can hear and see you. Thank you. And thank you for being a moderator in the chat room. Nice. And let's see. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for being an awesome person, always. And for all you do to make the world a better place. It matters. It may not seem like it, but we do make a difference. It does make a difference. Thank you for your love of the community cats and the animals, and for everything. Your hard work, your spirit, your soul. And thank you, patrons. Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. If you can, please become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Because we don't have big billionaire benefactors, nor do we want them. Well, why would we want them? They're disgusting. They're the reason we're in this boat. They're a personification of everything that sucks about humanity. Really, when you think about it. Greed, selfishness. What else sucks about humanity? Sociopathy. I guess that's greed and selfishness. Doing nothing for nobody but yourself. Another way to sell yourself. I mean, it's just, if this were another time, if we were still living in those hunter-gatherer societies, you know what would happen? We would march Elon Musk to the edge of the wilderness and say, fuck off. Oh, I'm not supposed to curse. We'd say, bye-bye, right? You're on your own, bubby. I really do hope I live to see the day where that happens. Send it to a desert island, right? Leave us alone. Leave the world alone. Okay. I wrote an article. It's going to be up at the Political Voices Substack in a couple of, soon, not too soon. Maybe I'll put it up while we're talking. Who knows? It's all about how Elon Musk is a fraud. There's another one. I was writing an article about how, because it wasn't the government accountability office. Well, one of these government watchdog agencies has ruled that Elon Musk, that the firings that he's doing, that they're illegal. And the first thing that came to my mind was, well, yeah, of course they're illegal. What about immoral? So I started writing an article about that because where's the morality? No one is pointing that out, but then it turned into another article. I think it'll be 2 articles, but it just turned into another essay, so to speak, on the fact that Musk is a fraud. His entire origin story is a fraud, just like Trump. That's why they're 2 peas in a pod, really. And we're living in this gilded age, the new gilded age of grifters, that you have like the likes of Elizabeth Holmes, Sam Bankman-Fried, he's another one, and the WeWork guy, I can't remember his name at the top of my head right now. I mean, they're all simply bullshit artists. And that's Elon Musk. His origin story is shit. He never innovated anything. And that's also what set me off, was listening. I heard someone else on the corporate media say, why can't he just stick to what he knows, being an innovator? He's not an innovator. This is what he knows. He's a dirtbag who hates people. This whole going hardcore shit And it goes back to when he was, where he got his money. Well, he got his money from his daddy. I'll just give you the rundown quickly before we call Robyn. He got his money from, of course, his daddy's blood diamond mines. His daddy sold a private jet and bought a lucrative stake in a Zambian mine, blood diamond mine, or whatever the hell, right? And they call it blood diamonds because people work themselves to death in these mines. And Musk is fond of going around saying that, he pulled himself up by his bootstraps. He's just one of us. He got an education on a student loan. I mean, that's all bullshit. And the fact is, his father came out and debunked it. His own father said, well, I don't know what he's talking about. He went to school in a Rolls Royce. He was driven. So he didn't live in, he wasn't in no middle class lifestyle. He lived in the lap of luxury, driven to school by with a driver driving a Rolls Royce, in stark contrast to the people that his family exploited in apartheid South Africa. I have a hard time with that word, so don't write any emails to me, please. Well, if you want to be nice, don't write anything saying you suck and this is how you pronounce the word or whatever the fuck. But and so yeah, and then he went to Canada, and unfortunately he came to the United States, much to our eternal misfortune. He came to the United States on a student visa. He went to the University of Pennsylvania. He did not graduate. It's suspect whether he graduated. Actually, you can't say definitively because there are conflicting reports. But here's the thing. He, in court discovery, now he says he graduated with a bachelor's in science. In the discovery that came out, he was sued numerous times about everything. And it came out that he is of course, a fraud. He did not graduate, but he submitted a fake diploma, which has many discrepancies in his story. For example, I guess they didn't really pay attention. He says he has a bachelor's in science. The degree says bachelor's, and a BA, not a bachelor's in science, and things like that. So little discrepancies in the fraud, but what is alleged in general, not alleged, I mean it's all in the court documents, but of course the sociopath denies it. Who you gonna believe, right? But he didn't graduate. But what happened was the investors gave him a degree. Because he was making a lot of money, he got a degree after the fact. So he was given one, sort of like an honorary degree in a way. But the investors procured this for him to cover up the embarrassment of his lies. So, but he didn't, let's say he graduated or not, who knows. He went to California. He went to Stanford University for 2 days, where he stopped going because him and his brother, with their daddy's money, created something called Zip2. And now let's roll it back a little bit. The minute he dropped out of Stanford, he became an illegal immigrant in the United States. Okay? Because he was here on a student visa, which prohibits working. So he was only on an education visa. So he was here illegally for a while. It's not like a couple of days. He was here creating this business, Zip2, illegally. And what that was, it was at the beginning of the internet age in general, where everybody was getting rich. Investors were looking for the newest whatever it might be. And he put on a presentation. So it was a digital yellow pages that he made. He learned a little code, and this is who he is. He's not like a complete moron. He just knows a little bit, and he pretends that he knows a lot. Like, he's just a lazy dirtbag. So he learned a little code, and he created this digital yellow pages on a regular old computer. But then he invited in a bunch of investors who, I guess at the time, they already had that fear of missing out thing going on. Everybody wanted to find the next, or a Facebook or something, or Google, or that's what was happening. So they wanted to get rich on this new, in the new digital age. And Musk he created this fake casing around the Windows computer in which he wrote, I'm just going to lower this, because we don't need the music at this point. But he created a casing around the computer that, it's just some regular old damn computer, but it gave it the appearance of a supercomputer that he created. He's just he's a bullshit artist. It's like WeWork. It's like Theranos. It's the same fucking thing. So the investors gave him $3 million under the condition that he would step down as CEO because he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And he did until however much time elapsed, he ended up somehow wiggling his way back onto the board or something. But when they found out, when he was gone, when he was not the CEO, then all the secrets came out that he didn't know what he was doing, that he didn't know how to write code. This was not a genius. This was all it was a ruse, that it wasn't a supercomputer. It's just some code that he wrote, and he wrote it very badly. In fact, I'm not a coder, but they call it a hairball. That's how he wrote, because it's done by people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. So instead of writing the code in chunks where another code, if something goes wrong, another coder can come in and pull out the piece of that chunk and fix it and put it back in, he wrote it in such a way that the whole thing, you pull out one piece and the entire thing crumbles down because he doesn't know what he's doing. Okay. So they had to hire somebody, or I guess a group of people who actually knew what they were doing, to rewrite the entire code. So he had the idea, and but that's not, whatever, a yellow page, a digital yellow pages, that's what, whatever. And big whoopee, it never went anywhere, as we know. So because everybody did it better, like Google, and it was really, it was just a nothing that went nowhere. So but he was bought out, or when he left, they gave him more money to fuck off. So he used that money to buy into Tesla, which was already a thing. He's not, he's just somebody that had a lot of money and bought into things. And then once again, at Tesla, he started with his bullshit about going hardcore and everybody has to work like he does, which he doesn't work like that, like 90 hours a week or whatever. He was like all round the clock, but he expected everyone to be at his beck and call. Just like at Zip2, that was the other thing. That began his abhorrent management, the talk about how he sucks at everything, including management. He hates people, but so now with Tesla, though, his sociopathy really ends up in lives lost and such, because he's violating safety standards. Hold on, Robyn. Give me a minute. All right. Should I give me a minute? I'm sorry, screaming. Give me 1 second. So, all right. Well, I guess that's a teaser then. Go watch the thing at the Political Voices Substack. It's not up there now, but I'll put it up there. I'm calling you now. So, and what else? Oh, yeah. we could talk about it with Robyn, I guess. Hold on. All right, calling now. Calling. 1 ring-a-diggy, 2 ring-a-diggy. Calling. It's just that this is what the time we're living in. The sociopathy. I will hold on. My Skype is working weirdly. Robyn doesn't want to go on camera today. Hello. I don't hear anything. Uh-oh. Robyn, you're on camera?
Yes.
Oh, I thought we were just doing. No, that's great. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
Well, I can.
You changed your mind.
I can do amazing things in a short period of time.
You change. It's a woman's right to change her mind, as they say on.
And it's not.
I Love
freezing.
Lucy.
It's not freezing in the studio, so.
Yeah, you're wearing a sundress or something.
Mm-hmm.
Looks hot out. Damn, kid.
It's actually 75 degrees in the fabulous studios of the magnificent Kincaid mansion, and the little floor unit, the heat pump is trying desperately to cool the room.
Wow. Why? Why is it so hot? It was freezing 2 days ago.
But we got up to like 68 degrees
Oh,
today.
good for you. Wow.
Loved it.
Yeah, right. Isn't that nice?
Oh.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
After the last 3 weeks, I'd like to dare to dream that I'm done buying propane for a while.
Right?
I'm not going to jinx myself.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm sorry I'm late. I was telling everybody about what a fraud Elon Musk is. And
oddly enough, we've been talking about the same thing.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Because somebody else on the corporate media, I heard them going, why can't he just be an innovator? Why can't he just do what he's good at?
Jesus, really?
Yeah, as always.
Poor little simpleton.
Right? I mean, I'm trying to find your lower third here. Yeah, no, so, I mean, I was going through his whole origin story because I wrote a little thing for the Political Voices Substack and about him that can we just put this to rest already? It doesn't, I mean, this is the corporate media, right? They have all the resources. It's all you have to do is just a basic cursory amount of research, and you will see immediately that Elon Musk is a fraud. He's a grifter. He's more like Sam Bankman-Fried or Elizabeth Holmes than he is an innovator, a genius. He's not Einstein. He doesn't. I mean, he's not even goddamn Bill Gates.
And I keep referring to it. One of the funniest things I've read on the internet lately is the guy who said, something I learned from trail hiking is if you're ever lost in the woods, do not panic. Don't go off trail. Just say loudly and clearly, Elon Musk is not a genius, and several of the most unfuckable men alive will appear out of nowhere to call you poor, and then you can follow them to the parking lot where their Tesla exploded.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. I mean, it's true. It's funny because it's true. I mean, the whole origin story of him, like he likes to say,
born in a log cabin in the veld of South Africa.
Right. And I was saying, because even his father, because Elon Musk likes to say that he got an education on student loans. He knows how to struggle and pay back his loans just through his own sweat and tears. But his father came out and said, that's bullshit. He was driven to work. I mean, he was driven to school in a Rolls Royce. So in apartheid South Africa. And in stark contrast, of course, to the people who, they were exploiting in the blood diamond mines that made them rich. And he went to Canada.
Blood emeralds.
Blood emeralds, yes, that's what it is. Yes, emeralds. And he went to Canada, unfortunately moved then to the United States to attend UPenn, But there's speculation, and there's also been a lawsuit which has all kinds of discovery, and there's a whole rundown on the Capitol Hunters Twitter page. They did the thing saying, can we please stop saying Elon Musk is a genius? He's a fraud. He's been lying to everyone for his entire life. He didn't receive a degree, and he's just full of shit. And in fact, the degrees he received were after the fact because of his investors obtaining him.
They were honorary degrees.
Yes.
And what's more, of course, it was encouraging for me to find out a couple of days ago that there's a petition circulating in Canada that has hundreds of thousands of Canadian citizen signatures on it, demanding that he be denaturalized from his Canadian citizenship for meddling in Canadian politics.
That's good for them. That's why I'm like, what did we do? Who did we screw in a past life for having to endure him, you know? And then when he went to California, he attended Stanford for 2 days, which he dropped out, and which immediately made him an illegal immigrant because he was here on a student visa that barred him from working. So he was here, and then not just a couple of days while he got his paperwork in order or whatnot. He was here for a while, a long time when and
his brother confessed.
Oh, really?
Cheated. Yeah.
Oh, get out.
His brother confessed that they cheated on their citizenship.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because he started this Zip2 thing with his brother, and it was all based in bullshit. It was just he wrote this code, and he was exposed for not knowing what the fuck he's doing, because he wrote it in a way that only people who don't know what they're doing would write a code, and had to be completely rewritten. But he brought in investors, and he created this casing that made his regular Windows computer look like he had invented some supercomputer. So it was just bullshit, just like Theranos, just like Elizabeth Holmes, some bullshit. And they threw money at him, hoping, this will be like Google, this will be like whatever else that's in this digital fear of missing out age. So when he left, and of course that's where his whole abhorrent management style came into focus, because the people who work there said he wants us to work around the clock. He expects us constantly to be at his beck and call. And I was thinking about it. It's just another it's like a closeted gay who hates gays, So it's the same thing when these MAGAts, when Trump and the MAGAts and Trump and Musk, they're all talking about, we're a meritocracy again. We're a meritocracy again.
Oh, please.
They cry about, they all claim to be the champions of meritocracy. That's because they know they would be nowhere without their privilege. It's the same thing. Him crying, going, we got to go hardcore. He doesn't go hardcore. This guy is tweeting 200 times a day. He's running all over the country and the world, impregnating women. Right? He's tweeting anti-Semitic conspiracy theories.
Yeah, but again, I want to be careful about the language that we use. I mean, yes, I suppose he did impregnate 13 women.
Yes.
As far as anybody can tell, only one of those was actually through coitus.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No shade on IVF. I mean, people go to IVF when they can't, when they badly want to make a family, and can't do it by the old-fashioned way.
Huh.
But yeah, he apparently has real problems having sex with women.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. Look at him. He doesn't look like...
Again, and all of us, and pretty quickly, some of the most unfuckable men you've ever seen will come out of the woods and tell you you're poor and lead you to the parking lot where their Teslas explode.
Right. And that's the thing. Tesla explodes more than the Pinto did. But, the remedy, Elon Musk's remedy, now that he's in charge of the fake Department of Government Efficiency, is to stop compiling statistics on the cars that are blowing up and are killing people because of their malfunctioning self-driving features.
Right.
Yeah. That's the Republican remedy for everything. Like their remedy for animal abuse in factory farms, which makes me want to puke. In general, the whole term factory farm should be something that makes us all sick. But is to make it illegal.
Animal concentration camps.
Yeah, is to make it illegal to not videotape. To make it illegal to videotape animal abuse in factory farms. That's their remedy for animal abuse in factory farms.
That's the same mindset as if we don't report the number of people dying from COVID, that many people won't be dying from COVID.
Exactly. And what's happening now, as we see, measles is back. A kid just died from measles in Texas. The poor thing didn't have a choice. They were born into a dumbass family of maggots, I suppose. That
was how I started the program.
Oh, really?
A responsible state would immediately charge those parents with child neglect resulting in death.
Yep.
And they would be cooling their heels somewhere thinking about the evil of their choices.
Right. But not here. Not in Texas.
No. And sad enough to say, because of the nature of our most puissant, dread, sovereign, supreme Catholic majesties, they would, if it made it all the way to the Supreme Court, they'd say, but we're being persecuted for our sincerely held Christian beliefs that children should be dead instead of being autistic.
Right. I mean,
even though the vaccines don't cause autism.
Right.
God damn it.
I know. And there are reams and reams of studies and scientific research that validates that. It's not a speculation, but they just think, oh, that's fake news. We'll cherry pick what the stats we like, or we will just ignore anything that doesn't fit our worldview, like their sincerely held whatever beliefs in anything that gives them an excuse, really, because that's what it's about. I mean, sincerely held. That's what I always wonder about that. What if your sincerely held religious belief says that you should own other human beings, right? It's the same thing with the way they treat.
They had those 165 plus years ago.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, women are treated like nothing but not even second-class citizens. They have no autonomy at all in some of these religions. That's a sincerely held religious belief. If that happened to men, of course, if men were, for example, forced to walk around in potato sacks, right, and not drive or not participate in any kind of life outside the home, that would be considered a crime against humanity,
Yes.
But not for women. Not for women. It makes kind of shit makes me sick.
And in a state like mine, yours is different because y'all actually did not go for Nitwit Nero. But my state, Tara, went 70% for Orange Jesus.
That's shame on them. Really.
And right.
How's it working out for them, though?
It's not. There's a lot of leopards eating people's faces.
I appreciate that.
They are presently considering a bill in our House of Delegates to remove rape and incest as reasons for an abortion.
Oh my God! Well, you got to make lemonade out of those lemons, right?
And to add to that, there are roughly 17,300 federal employees in this little state.
Oh yeah, this is the other thing that really is getting me pissed off in general about the corporate media, the mainstream media, not talking about the morality of what we're witnessing. The government accountability. It wasn't the government accountability. It was one of these government watchdog groups came out and said what Elon Musk is doing is and what, the convicted felon con man, what they're doing, firing government workers, is illegal. Of course it is. But what about immoral? Right? There's no question about that, right? I mean, then firing people, putting families and communities into turmoil for no effing reason except he can, and dancing around with a freaking chainsaw like a friggin' baboon, laughing and celebrating this, is absolutely disgusting. And no one's even bringing that up. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody. Is that how disconnected we are from each other? It doesn't matter as long as it's not me. I suppose. I really do hope that that this time will wake people up. I'm really sick of it myself. I'm sick of it.
Honestly, I'm not sanguine about people waking up. I mean, granted, I'm the one who's made the argument that there are a lot of people in this country who can hear only through their buttocks. And I've also made the argument that, America voted rabidly Republican from 1918 through 1930, 1928. But
it was a different Republican Party, though, right? But go ahead.
I mean, was it really? I mean, laissez-faire
that's true.
Economics.
Well, once they sold out to the railroad, I guess that's what that was it. Because they wish
but the thing is, those people back then wised up, Tara.
Yes, but it did take
under a constant barrage of right-wing disinformation, misinformation, outright propaganda, and lies. What chance do the MAGAts have of smartening up?
I know, because they've been programmed to disregard anything that doesn't validate their lies. But I don't know. When they lose their jobs, maybe. And for example, I don't know. I think I've told you, my niece is getting married in a couple of months in April. And they're going to, they got a van by the river. And they're going to take it and travel around the country. This is their plan.
Hold on. A van down by the river.
And they're going to take their dog, and they're going to, it seems like a lovely, wonderful way to make memories of a lifetime. Yeah. And they want to travel the country and visit all these national parks and whatnot. But now that the unelected South African sociopath has taken an axe to our system, apparently the parks, they're canceling all reservations. They're not taking reservations. It's unsafe, unclean. The lines are ridiculous. The whole experience.
Well, the economy of this little area where I live is driven entirely by tourism.
Right. Well,
we have a national park.
What's the national park there?
The New River Gorge National Park.
Oh, okay. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Yep.
And, these cuts could decimate our tourism economy.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Because who's going to, they're canceling reservations. And then when the word gets out, it's such an embarrassment that our national parks, when they're saying the bathrooms are filthy, there's nobody there to fix anything, the toilets overflow, there's no to fix it. People get lost. There's nobody there.
Every spring, the toilets explode.
Yeah,
it's straight out of Animal House.
It's just a shit show. The whole thing. It's an embarrassment. You wouldn't bring somebody into your home like that. You'd be embarrassed. So, but this is what we do to our national parks, our national treasures, the things that we share. That should be something that is that we should be proud of and take care of and want to make sure it runs in an effective manner and is pristine and safe and clean and everybody has a great experience. Isn't that what a great country would do? A shining city on the hill would look like? Right. Right. To me, I mean, everything they're doing, from when cutting funding for education, cutting everything. I mean, cutting Medicaid. What's going to happen to the people that are in nursing homes right now? Are they going to just wheel them out and say, good luck, honey? Like what happens, we've seen the videos of them dropping off patients downtown somewhere and then running off. Is that what's going to happen to our elderly?
They had a preliminary vote in the House today, and the MAGAts voted to gut Medicaid.
Yes.
Because they've got to find the dodgy boys and the scum rats have to find the money to support the billionaire tax cut.
Yes. And I mean, they're not making anything great. They're not doing anything to make, this, to balance a budget, to whatever they want, all the claims that they're talking about. It's all bullshit. All they're doing is dragging us back to the Gilded Age and before. No, they're dragging us back to the Dark Ages, that's for sure. Rolling back the American Revolution, clearly. And I don't know. If the maggots don't wake up, like when I go to the conservative Reddit page, there's a lot of grumbling and discontent over there, but there's also, people that are great about it. They think, oh yeah, you just do what they tell you to do. So let's see. I'm just checking. Oh yeah. Here's one that can probably. This is from the conservative Reddit page. It hasn't made it over to the Leopards Eating Our Faces page yet, but it says
it will.
Let me start by saying I'm a Trump supporter. I voted for him and agree with the vast majority of what his administration has done. So don't mistake me for some rhino, for some rhino drivel. However, why the F are we firing NP/FS workers? What is it? National Park and what's
Forest
FS?
Service.
Oh, Forest Service. Okay. In fiscal year 2025, the National Park Service budget was, and this is the other thing, it's 100% because we make money on the national parks. At least we did at one time. The National Parks budget was approximately $3 billion, while the Forest Services was $7 billion. Combined, they account for $10 billion in federal spending. But they, I don't know, he doesn't get to the bottom line there. My hobbies revolve around the outdoors, but because I was looking it up, they make a net profit. That's what happens. You got to spend money to make money. So you're spending money on your national parks, having people that know what they're doing, having guides, having educators, having safety workers, people who clean the bathrooms and things. But you're generating revenue.
Bathrooms that trans people can't use.
Oh,
now,
true. True. That's true. That is true. Exactly. Right. Well, you can. They got trees, so just.
There's always leaves.
Yeah. So
pine cones.
Right. That's what they used to use. I heard. I don't know. The whole thing is effed up. So. But this guy goes on. All of my hobbies revolve around the outdoors: hunting, fishing, hiking, camping, you name it. So when I see reports about Forest Service workers being laid off, it hits close to home. And that's why you're upset about it, right? These are the people who manage and protect the very places that make our activities possible. Laying them off is flat out idiotic. So, to the conservatives, and then he comes back, to the conservatives on this sub calling me a liberal because I don't blindly agree with everything that Trump does, get real. Disagreeing with a single issue doesn't suddenly flip my entire ideology. But that's the way it is. That's what you can't go against the dear leader. You have to fall in line.
Not in Washington or Pyongyang.
Right. And then he says, to the liberals who think this is some kind of gotcha moment, don't flatter yourself. This isn't a talking point to hijack. Wanting a well-maintained trails, responsible wildlife management, and safe outdoor spaces isn't some hidden endorsement of your agenda. It's common sense.
But no, I mean, the maggots are going to get upset if the public lands are harmed, because a lot of these maggots love nothing more than getting out a high-powered rifle like a 30-06 with a 4.5x14 Leupold scope on it,
right,
and going out and chasing Bambi.
Mm-hmm.
That's my God-given right
Yeah,
under the
killing
Second
for fun,
Amendment
yeah.
to shoot deer
Mm-hmm.
and put it in my freezer.
If that, I mean, ugh, so disgusting. Get a real habit. Why do you? I mean, take a picture. I don't get it. Why do you want to kill something for fun? You're not. It's not like you're starving. Ugh, don't get me going. I just, that whole thing itself makes me sick. Oh,
but I wanted to
anyway.
bring something to your attention, because it's, we're talking, but I think it was in yesterday's program. I've had this little thing just tickling the back of my brain for a while. And I wanted to share this clip with you because it's so apropos.
Okay.
I find it's been, like I said, it's been tickling my brain for a while, and I finally went and found the clip. There was a movie a few years ago with Daniel Craig and Ed. Oh God, where's his name? Ed Norton. Okay. And it was called Knives Out 2, Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. And like any mystery with with Hercule Poirot or Miss Marple, or there's the big reveal scene at the end when you find out who done it.
Mm.
And Daniel Craig plays this gooey southern voiced detective who's supposed to figure out who killed Cock Robin. And Ed Norton plays a billionaire. And this is the total spoiler. Don't care, because sometimes in media you have these moments that make you think that the writers were had someone in mind when they wrote the script, and this scene makes me think that the Ed Norton billionaire character is a stand-in for Leon Scum. Same thing with Don't Look Up. You remember that film, Tara?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That felt like Leon Scum too.
Yeah.
in charge of stopping the comet.
Right. Right.
And there is a city-sized asteroid out there that now has like a 3.2% chance of striking somewhere on Earth in 2032.
Will we be
and
here?
if we
maybe?
don't get these assholes out of the way,
oh my God, yeah.
if it does get close enough to be harmful, potentially harmful, we can't do anything about it, because a guy who can't get his dick rockets out of the atmosphere is going to be in charge of shooting it down.
Oh God. Oh no.
But in this scene from Glass Onion, there have been clues all along the way. It's a murder mystery after all. And the Ed Norton character keeps making verbal mistakes. He keeps using words. He just masturbates words into conversation, whether he knows what they mean or not, as an old joke goes. And that helps Benoit Blanc figure out who done it. And it's hilarious. Because he recounts the words that he's heard that make him go, huh? And then he reaches a conclusion about the billionaire, again, that is straight up Elon Musk. And I'm proud of the fact that this dawned on me, and, this program, we're so far out ahead of the curve, it's like we're on straight road. And, let's just check it out.
Just tell us who tried to kill me.
Ed Norton.
Just tell us who tried to kill me.
Nobody tried to kill you, you vainglorious buffoon.
Duke took my glass. Wow. Look at that dress spin. Bertie, that's amazing. Just.
You handed Duke your own glass. Clear as crystal. Right in front of our eyes. All of us. And then told a bald-faced fabrication. And it worked.
Blanc, you telling us Miles killed Duke?
Yes. That night, Lionel faxed Andy's email to Miles, who received it in New York. The one thing that could destroy his empire of lies, the truth, in the hands of the only person unafraid to tell him. So Miles drives his baby blue Porsche to the scene of the crime, and Andy lets him in. Of course you did. Miles's machine of lawyers and power could destroy her through sheer dumb force, but Miles himself? Oh, she was clever enough not to fear Miles. But she didn't see the real threat, the obvious threat, until it was too late. Duke alone knew you were there that night, but he didn't know Andy was dead. No, he didn't know that until this evening. Right out in the open, Duke showed him.
It changes things, right?
It sure does.
And told him exactly what he wanted in return for his silence.
Numbers like this. Maybe we can talk Alpha News.
You bet your ass. Come here.
Bertie, what are the ingredients to your Cuban breeze?
Vodka, amaretto, and pineapple juice.
No pineapple in there, right? Duke don't dance with pineapple.
Pineapple juice! He just put pineapple juice in his whiskey.
I don't know what's happening.
So dumb, it's brilliant.
No! It's just dumb.
Okay.
It's
but
hard. I don't know.
second.
It's hard to follow because I don't know the movie.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
You just burned it.
Burned what? I didn't see anything.
You burned it.
Is someone making toast?
This will not stand.
Huh?
Stand by. That may have been the wrong clip.
Oh no, I don't know what the hell is happening.
There it is.
The killer
Here.
immediately struck my Achilles heel. But thank high heaven, at the last moment, I realized what had teased my brain through this entire case. Imbreviate. Not a word.
Not a word.
What?
Can we just take a second and fully abbreviate this moment?
It's not a real word. It kind of sounds like one, but it's just entirely made up. Now, reclamation, well, that is a word, but it's the wrong word.
This place, it's the full reclamation of everything I've achieved up to now.
This entire day,
The predefinite detective.
a veritable minefield of malapropisms
The infraction point.
and factual errors.
Bask in the sun, swim in the Ionian Sea.
That is the Aegean Sea.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is.
His dock doesn't float. His wonder fuel is a disaster. His grasp of disruption theory is remedial at best. He didn't design the puzzle boxes. He didn't write the mystery. Et voila! It all adds up. The key to this entire case. And it was staring me right in the face. Like everyone in the world. I assumed Miles Braun was a complicated genius. But why? Look into the clear center of this glass onion. Miles Braun is an idiot.
Ding!
All right. And then what?
Miles Braun is an idiot. Miles Braun is the Leon Scum character.
Yes. In
Those things he allegedly invented, the puzzle box. He didn't invent that.
He's just
Your understanding of disruption theory is remedial at best. You're just an idiot.
yes.
And to the same extent that the lawyer, Mr. Welch, once looked at Joe McCarthy and said, "At long last, sir, have you no decency?" If the moment comes with Leon Scum, it will be a moment where someone looks Leon Scum in the eye
Right.
and just says, "You're an idiot.
Yes.
You
Right.
are a bona fide, brass-bound, 200 proof, sure thing, lead pipe cinch idiot.
Yep.
There is an idiot in charge of the government. And I'm not talking about Trump, Tara.
Right. No, there is.
You're just an idiot.
And whoever is the first one to say that, or in the halls of power or on the floors of Congress, will be recalled by history as a hero, like the person that finally confronted.
Right. And see, that I think is the reason why he will not show up, no matter if he is requested. He will not show up to testify before Congress because he will stammer and he will stutter.
Yeah.
And he will say stupid things.
Yeah.
Like, if we don't get hold of this deficit, the America will go bankrupt. That's just goddamn dumb.
Right.
You know, and that's the moment where you, why, Mr. Musk, you're just an idiot.
Right.
We can't go bankrupt. Even during the Great Depression, the United States government did not go bankrupt. The foundation of Keynesian economic theory is that we can't go bankrupt.
Right.
The solution to the Great Depression was for the government to spend more, to literally spend our way out of the Depression.
Yep. And even
it worked.
Right. And even when the Republicans say, well, it wasn't the New Deal that saved us from the Depression. It was World War II. Yeah. Let's say it's a massive spending program, though, right? Isn't that what World War II was?
That was the government spending a lot of money.
Right. On things that they were going to blow up, that they can use once.
I mean, think about the insurance policies.
Right.
That the United States government paid out to our brave.
That's right.
Our brave military personnel who died in action.
That's right. Every one of them. That's one of the things when I was in service. You know, you have to get your, your insurance and fill out your last wishes and all this, just in case.
My paternal grandparents lost their firstborn son in the Second World War. He was killed while killing Nazis.
Well, good for him for killing Nazis.
Yeah. And his insurance benefits paid for them to be able to get out of the holler and build a house that they owned and not be dependent on coal company housing anymore.
Well, and that is why the Republicans...
He died for freedom twice.
But
the freedom of the American people, the freedom of the world, and the freedom of his parents.
And that's why the Republicans wanted to, they were against, overwhelmingly, they were against the GI Bill because they saw a bunch of cheap labor coming home when the Democrats saw people that they could invest in, that could go to college, that could, improve the society for all, not just cheap labor. And that's what happened. Every dollar spent to send a returning service person to college returned $6 in tax revenue. So, I mean, it's an investment.
It's an economic multiplier.
But what are we doing now? Firing
like anything
people.
Else that benefits working people is an economic multiplier.
Exactly.
Social Security is an economic multiplier. Unemployment benefits are an economic multiplier. Workers' compensation is an economic multiplier.
That is right. That's true. Every
EBT
dollar
is an economic multiplier.
I know. And what they're doing, I mean, we have this, okay, this has only been going on for 5 weeks and 3 days. Okay? 5 weeks and 3 days. Imagine.
And again, it all comes to a head because the goddess of irony is a good goddess, Tara. It all comes to a head on the Ides of March.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Not kidding.
Yeah. Something.
The drop dead date for the budget is midnight on March 14th. Saturday is the 15th, the Ides of March. And Saturday, March 15th, also happens to be 53 days from his first full day in office, which was the number of days it took for Adolf Hitler to turn a functioning democracy into a fascist pariah state.
Well, yeah.
And so there he was, and we went through the clip in full. There was Leon Scum, who holds no cabinet position, who has been stated now by the White House to not even be an employee of Dodgy. There he was, literally chuckling about zeroing out funding for Ebola prevention in Africa.
What? He was today?
Yes, ma'am.
In the cabinet meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my God. I didn't watch it because I wanted to keep my lunch down, but I heard, that he was sitting in there. That's so disgusting.
We're gonna make mistakes. We made one. We accidentally eliminated funding for Ebola, but we put it right back, so nothing happened.
I'm so.
And the chattering class is saying, this alone is enough to at least drag him before the Congress.
Right. Wow.
But will the MAGAts? Nah.
I mean, all of them are so disgusting. They're so unfit. And that's why they call for, like I was saying, meritocracy. You got to be hardcore. It's all a meritocracy. Because they're not. They're underwhelming. And it's like a closet case, hating gays, hating their fellow gays who have the courage to live an authentic life because they think that it puts people off the scent that they are, just how underwhelming they are, right? I mean, that's why they're like, look at Pete Hegseth or whatever. They're all
hog's breath. It's easier just to say
hog's
breath.
I mean,
or
Cash
it's easier still just to say the DUI hire.
Right, DUI hire. I'm looking at a clip of this monster laughing while he's looking at his phone, and they were all standing there, and Cash Patel, Pete Hogsbreath, all these underwhelming, unfit lick spittles.
Men.
Right.
Mediocre men.
Less than mediocre. They're simply not fit to be anywhere near the positions that they currently hold. It is emblematic of just how much the Republican Party are the domestic terrorists, the domestic enemies the founders warned us about.
Incompetence. I said earlier that, the person who publicly tells Leon Scum that he's a fucking moron will become a hero. Well, that person isn't Kelsey Atherton of the Center for International Policy, but Kelsey Atherton said in regard to the Ebola remark, no Democrat should vote for anything in Congress until Musk is fired.
That's right.
And all the federal funding he zeroed out on a whim is restored. We simply cannot have a democracy when the executive zonked out vizier moves fast and breaks things he doesn't understand, which is all things, because he's stupid.
Yeah, that's how you end it. Yep.
A writer named Adam Schultz said, Elon Musk, who calls millions of U.S. federal workers incompetent, says he accidentally canceled Ebola prevention.
I'm surprised they put it back, frankly.
I don't know that they did.
If they did at all, right. Because I would think that would fall under freedom or something. You should be free to get Ebola.
He said, we restored Ebola prevention immediately. There was no interruption.
Well, he hasn't done a goddamn thing for anything, especially he's just, saving money. They haven't saved a damn dime. He says he's going to send everybody $5,000. Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. The business about restoring Ebola prevention immediately was, as Benoit Blanc said in that clip, a bald-faced lie.
Right. Everything.
Because there is a report. There's data you can point to with these stupid fucks. And there's a report that shows that the funding is still frozen.
Oh. Well, they're hoping.
And then, of course, there's the fact that he doesn't have the authority to freeze.
Right.
He doesn't have the authority to.
Exactly.
God damn it! Freeze a meatball.
It's so baffling to me why anybody listens to what he says. That's, what I'm saying? What if you had a constitutional crisis and nobody came, right? And nobody attended? Just Well, if he sends you an email, shove it up your ass. I mean, shove it up his ass. Don't respond. He's got no power. You might as well file it under any other kooky email you get from a kook. Put it in the damn spam folder. Who is this person? He's got no authority. He's not, didn't go through congressional approval. This is not an actual department. The same thing with Trump, saying that he's going to overturn birthright citizenship or stop any funding allocated by Congress. I'm sorry, booby. It's not in your bag of tricks. You don't get to do that. That's what I really don't understand that, Robyn. I really don't understand why anybody, why we're all...
You can't understand the incomprehensible, okay? That's not on you.
Right. But I mean, the corporate media, when he signed an executive order overturning birthright citizenship, there goes the headlines and the breaking news. Trump has suspended birthrights. What? No. Trump, the moron, the dumbass, thinks he can stop birthright citizenship, which is a constitutional amendment. He's got no authority. I mean, these are the headlines. It's not, he did it, and now what are we going to do? We got to go to court and stop it. Why? He might as well be wishing on a star. It doesn't fucking mean anything. He's got no power. I mean, at least in that regard. That's what I don't understand. What? Just release the funding. Whatever.
Right, but they won't. Look, you want to understand it? I can help you understand it. Back in the 1970s, under the Fair Housing Act, Nitwit Nero and his filthy Klansman daddy were hailed into federal court over the fact of their racist hiring practices. Okay. Or I'm sorry, renting practices.
Yes, and hiring too, I'm sure.
but
Absolutely.
This had to do with racist denial of rentals and things like that. And all he had to do, okay, was enter into a consent decree with the federal government saying, "I won't do that no more." Instead, he ran off and hired who? I know you know.
What's his name?
Roy
the
Cohn.
gay guy, who hates himself.
No, he wasn't gay. He just liked to have sex with men.
Okay.
I mean,
the self-loathing gay. Well, he hated. Yeah. I mean, they all hate themselves. They all have some kind of mania that they inflict on society, and rather than get help that they need.
He went and hired Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn ran his mouth and convinced his young protege that he was playing hardball with the feds. Roy Cohn, who was of course Joe McCarthy's lawyer. Roy Cohn, who died of AIDS. Roy Cohn said, "Oh, I'm playing. Well, we're going to show him a thing or two in court. That's what we're going to do." And so he billed out a shit ton of money, Cohn did, and then signed the consent decree that they could have signed in the first place and saved a shit ton of lawyer fee money to Roy Cohn. And the only person who won out of it was Roy Cohn.
Of course.
And so this is that playing out again. This is why he babbles all the time about, I never lose in court. And then he does nothing but lose in court.
Right.
And so he will be pushed to the wall by the courts, and then he'll probably quietly comply, all the while claiming victory. And so as far as the court system is concerned, right now there are only backstop, there are only guardrail. And we may see contempt charges coming down
against him
and his administration.
And then what?
Today in the United States District Court for the District of D.C., Judge Amir H. Ali issued a ruling. He was asked to pause his previous ruling that gave the Nitwit Nero gang until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this evening, a little over 4 hours from now, to pay invoices for foreign development funds for contracts that were completed before February the 13th. And today he said, no, I'm not pausing shit. You still got till 11:59. Pay the contracts. And if they don't do it, he has the constitutional power to hail the secretary, in this case, little Marco Rubio, into court, or his deputy, or some functionary, and stick them in jail for contempt.
Can they?
Yes.
But who will? Is this under the
court's contempt? The court's contempt power is clear.
But who's going to pick them up and put them into jail? I mean, isn't that
there are U.S. Marshals in U.S. courts?
Are they under any of
the jurisdiction of the judge?
Okay, good. That's what I'm asking. I mean, under Pam Bondi's friggin'.
No, Pam Bondi can pound fucking sand.
Good. Then that's what they should do. Fucking arrest them. They have to, because otherwise, what's the point, right?
And of course, he's potentially in contempt to God alone knows how many other courts. The Bureau of Prisons has said that it was going to go forward on putting trans women in men's prisons so that they can be raped to death. And the court added the court added more plaintiffs and said, my order still stands. And so while Nitwit Nero may think he's immune,
can they?
His minions are not.
Yeah, take him, get him, get Elon Musk. What the fuck? That's what I keep wondering. Why doesn't somebody arrest this asshole? Arrest him and put him in jail. He shouldn't. He's got no freaking right to do what he's doing. Firing people. How about you list 5 things you accomplished last week? Fuck you.
Oh, by the way,
that's what I accomplished, right?
No, we talked about this a couple of days ago, and somebody sent in their answer, and it was 1, your mama, 2, your mama, 3, your mama, 4, your mama, and then I got a message earlier today saying, well, somebody apparently listens to the horn, because let me see, who was it? No. Yeah, but some comedian. Oh, was it you, Flavio? No. No. Well, but anyway, someone posted that. Was it this? No. Well, I don't know where it went, but somebody said exactly that. 5 things I did this week, Leon. 1, your mother. 2, your mother. 3, your mother. 4, your mother. 5, your mother's. Yeah, and shaved her back along the way.
Yeah, I mean, how dare he? What did you accomplish last? Fuck you. Really, you scumbag. What have you accomplished since your unfortunate birth into this sad world? You scumbag. They haven't ever...
Well, once again, the best part of, just like Trump, the best part of him ran down his mama's leg.
Exactly. These people have never given anything. They've never added anything to humanity. In fact, they have harmed humanity. That's for sure. You know, what has he done? He's, of course, like I'm saying, he's never innovated. He's been, they say, oh, well, he's expanded. You know, he made EVs popular. No, he didn't. He didn't make EVs popular because he did all that he can because of his abhorrent personality to you know, what do you call it? To make the people that would buy his EVs hate his guts. So,
and you know, it was an early indicator when that those bumper stickers began popping up on Teslas all over the country that says, "We bought this before we knew what an asshole he was."
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
great.
That's a thing. I've seen them.
Yeah, I got to get one for my niece. She bought a Tesla. So, yeah, I'm telling you. And
again, the question arises about Teslas. If you've got a choice between an electric vehicle that was made by good union labor,
yeah,
versus a Tesla made with scab labor,
exactly.
Why wouldn't you buy the union-made vehicle?
Yeah, of course. Especially knowing what he puts his people through, and that he does everything to cut corners on safety, and that's why they blow up. That's why he caused this massive 8-car pileup on Thanksgiving Day in 2022, when he released, in spite of and to in contradiction to his engineers and the safety inspectors that he does have in his company, and which who he fired, by the way, for sounding the alarm about the safety issues in the self-driving vehicles. He just got rid of them. And on Thanksgiving Day in 2022, he sent out a tweet: "Enjoy your new self-driving car. If you bought a Tesla that with this with the with the ability to have a self-driving feature, you would it would happen later on. It would be an update." So on Thanksgiving Day, he said, "Enjoy self-driving." He released the update, which caused crashes all over the country because it wasn't ready. Like,
again, and we find ourselves looping back, Tara, because he's a fuck up.
Right. And all he does...
He's a broken-brained little dweeb, neo-maxi, Zoom dweeby fuck up.
Yeah, and because he has no regard for humanity or human beings, because he's a sociopath narcissist. So, what matters most to him is just get it out there. That's why his rockets explode. This Falcon 1 rocket that he funded, that was funded by taxpayer money, by the way,
right,
that he calls an unplanned disassembly.
Rapid unplanned disassembly.
Yeah, which is basically him, wiping his ass. He might as well just wipe his ass with the taxpayer money. He has got no regard for our money. I mean, this is money that could go to hospitals, schools, right? Not up his fucking ass. Oh my God! But
and let me let me add in a couple of things. Thank you, Mark. Mark down in Florida just jumped in and got us down to $1,230 to finish February. We're $30 away from being funded for Monday. Thank you, Mark. And Mark noted World War II death annuities totaled at least $4 billion. Ponder that. That's amazing. But, we did that because we are a great nation.
Mm-hmm. At the time, we could have extracted, could you imagine? Of course, we would have been on the wrong side if Trump was in office. But the Marshall Plan, rebuilding Europe without extracting our due, so to speak, right? I mean, that's what Trump would have done. Like what he's doing, he's strong-arming Ukraine to give us their mineral, the rights to their minerals, and as a vig, basically, because he has no vision. All he thinks about is money, money, money. You got $10? Give me $1. You got $1? I mean, he doesn't. None of them see the bigger picture.
Hey, give me a Quaker there.
Right.
Give me a Quaker.
Give me $1. I need. What do you got? Pay. You gotta pay. Nobody pays. You gotta pay up. We're not Uncle Sucker. What an embarrassment these people are to us, to humanity. And I'm looking at the conservative Reddit page, of course. This is fucked up.
Oh my God.
No, but I mean, I like to go in there to see.
You have to have a hazmat suit to get on.
It's true, but here's another example, because you were talking about how are we going to get through to these right-wingers? They live in an alternate reality. So someone posted on the conservative Reddit page 8 hours ago, Adam Schiff, some bullshit. Breaking news. Congressional sources confirm Representative Adam Schiff used taxpayer money to settle a sexual harassment claim with a 19-year-old boy back in 2013. And I was like, is that
like bullshit?
Yeah. So I looked it up. Did Adam Schiff use taxpayer money to settle a suit with a boy in 2013? 19-year-old boy. That's not a boy, actually, but anyway. So, of course not. Did Adam Schiff use, is this true?
Oh, that was probably Lindsey Graham.
Right. Maybe they got him confused. But it says this is false, has been repeatedly debunked as a conspiracy theory. Here's a breakdown. The rumor emerged from a satirical and or conspiracy-driven website, including a 2018 article on the junk news site called The Net Spies that fabricated an interview and used a misattributed photo of a victim. Social media posts later amplified the claim, of course, right? Falsely alleging that Schiff paid a 19-year-old male in a sexual harassment settlement. PolitiFact rated this claim pants on fire in 2019, noting that there are no credible sources or evidence exists. And the rumor is they traced it to a QAnon conspiracy account. USA Today reiterated this again in 2023, that the claim is false and lacks any substantiation, and also pointed to a 2017 report on congressional settlements that didn't mention Schiff. Then again, it reappeared in 2024, and fact checkers are continuing to label this false. But here it is again on... with no, it has no sources. It's fabricated. No. It's bullshit. It's completely debunked again and again and again. And here it is again on the conservative Reddit page, which they're supposed to be, it's not a QAnon site. So let's see what people say. Yeah. Let's see. Well, some people actually said, why are we spreading misinformation? Well, that's good. People are saying that Trump is a Russian spy. My sister the other day said I was a Russian spy. Anyway, whatever. So, yeah.
You need a hazmat suit.
I know. If he was a Republican, this is what someone else says, every Reddit sub would be running this.
Right, because they're so put upon.
Yeah, they're so picked on. But all you got to do is, a little due diligence. And even when I see things on other that I agree with on other sites, I always check. I'm like, that doesn't really sound right. But you have to do your due diligence on anything, especially now on the internet. You got to look at the sources. And so on the conservative Reddit page, someone also posted, there's a little discontent over there. This is why I'm bringing it up. It says, I don't want $5,000 from Doge. I want a balanced budget, permanently lower taxes. Good luck. See, that's the scam right there, too.
Sure.
Because you're not getting lower taxes, Booby, unless you're a billionaire. Unless you're in the top 1%. They're not talking about your lower taxes. Good luck thinking that it will trickle down on you, and that any of these cuts, any of the firings that's happening, that are not saving a goddamn dime. In fact, they're stripping us of wealth. That any of that is going to end up making America better, greater, richer. It's just going to set us back years, decades. And so, and he says, if you are salivating at the idea of a $5,000 payment, you are a liberal. Well, it's not liberals doing this, are they? It's always they always have to
It's not liberals.
No, honey.
That lie.
Exactly. Yeah. A balanced budget, lower government spending, and lower taxes will be a long-term better solution to our problems rather than a $5,000 bribe. Anyway. I want a budget surplus. Yeah, no, But
I don't want to just sit here and talk about all the bad shit, because there's plenty of it.
Good.
Here's some good news.
Okay,
and it's weird when the good news comes from corporate America, but here we are.
I like that.
Something similar happened with Costco recently at their annual shareholder meeting.
Mm-hmm.
when they told a MAGAt think tank called the National Center for Public Policy Research.
Oh God.
This is a gang of white people, mediocre white men.
As always.
And they've been running around to corporations trying to file petitions to eliminate corporate DEI departments.
Oh my God. What happened to freedom?
Costco, their shareholders told the National Center for Public Policy Research to go fuck themselves. And now, of all people, I mean, you want to think about, the common clay of the New West, the hard-working folks who drive around in tractors and wear red hats. Remember, you can't spell hatred without red hat.
True. Very good. I like that.
John Deere had their annual shareholder meeting, and it was earlier today. And at that shareholder meeting, the petition to dump DEI got less than 1% of the shareholder votes.
Oh, good.
And the National Center for Public Policy Research, as I said, got shut out by Costco. Apple told them to go fuck themselves as well.
Good.
And Costco had said, among other things, a diverse group of employees helps bring originality and creativity to our merchandise offerings, promoting the treasure hunt that our customers value. We believe, and member feedback shows, that many of our members like to see themselves reflected in the people in our warehouses with whom they interact.
Yep.
And they added, the National Center for Public Policy Research's agenda is not reducing risk for the company, but abolition of diversity initiatives. In yesterday's shareholders meeting at Apple and today at Deere, director from the NCPPR said, DEI is out, merit is in. Shareholders, DEI is in. Apple and John Deere shareholders voted on anti-DEI proposals from the National Center for Public Policy Research yesterday and today. Apple shareholders rejected 98 to 2%. Deere shareholders rejected 99 to less than 1%. And Costco shareholders rejected in January 98 to 2%.
That's great. And here's the other thing. Research indicates that DEI actually is connected to improved financial performance and profitability. So companies with a gender diverse executive team are 21% more likely to outperform peers in profitability, while ethnically diverse teams see a 33% higher likelihood of increased profitability. Firms with diverse leadership generate 19% more innovation revenue due to varied perspectives addressing diverse customer needs. And McKinsey found that companies in the top quartile for gender diversity on executive teams were 25% more likely to achieve above average profitability. So what they do, as always, Republicans are destroying America. They set us up for failure, never success. Their tiny minds, their tiny morality, their inability to function in a modern world is not setting us up for that shining city on the hill, that's for sure.
No. And what's interesting out of the John Deere story is that back in July, they became one of the first major American companies to back away from supporting Pride.
Which one? John Deere. Oh.
Yeah. And they caught unmitigated shit for it. And so today they told these right-wing asshats, these mediocre men with, billionaire backing, they told them to fuck off.
Oh, really?
It turns out that
that's good.
It turns out that DEI, like you said, is good for a company. And something that, and we're rapidly running out of time, but something that I've been kind of harping on this week is what I said earlier. DEI is just an acronym for affirmative action for mediocre white men who can't compete.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Because, you know, they've had white male privilege for all these generations, and finally other people are getting into the mix, and the other people getting into the mix have had to work twice as hard to just be recognized as good as the mediocre people. So they have to be well beyond mediocre, whether it's a woman of color or a man of color or somebody from the LGBTQ community. They have to work twice as hard anyway, and that makes them twice as good as these mediocre white men. And all of this DEI crap is just white men whining that they don't get to be mediocre and just get participation trophies anymore.
Yep.
And frankly, I welcome it.
Well, the conservative chickens always come home to roost in failure. And this is not going to end well. We saw the cabinet of freaks and curiosities today. So these are one of the good things is that they're inept. They're very good at breaking things and making things suck. But it's, and the fact that they're doing it so across the board, I think is a good thing too, because it will, I hope, wake up the sleeping giant of those. Maybe it'll motivate the idiots who didn't vote last election to come out and participate and vote to not against their fellow Americans, but for. I don't know. I don't know.
I had a note from Cynthia in the Bay Area, and she said when we were talking about Leon Scum, she said the word is parasite.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is a parasite.
Leon Scum is a parasite, and depending on the parasite, if the parasite isn't dealt with, it can kill the host.
Right.
Save the host and get rid of the damn parasite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that and remember, ivermectin is actually designed to get rid of parasites. It's literally a dewormer. We need a national dose of ivermectin to get the Leon Scum and the scum rats out of our system.
Right. It's true.
The question is, what is that dewormer?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
And by the way, Matt in San Francisco and Lee in New York both reminded me that the email response, your mama, your mama, your mama, your mama, your mama. Yeah, that was Stephen Colbert.
Oh, really? Okay. Right.
So,
well, I mean, like, if Elon Musk, as he's cutting all these agents and firing people, he just got some more government contracts. I'm sure you saw that. Lucrative FAA contracts, a $2 billion deal to replace Verizon's air traffic controls. You're gonna, we're gonna trust him, right?
And I wonder if the fact that they can't keep planes from crashing is some sort of argument that they want to make that, Leon Scum needs to replace the computers.
Yeah. Well, that he's replacing it's a FAA agreement, to update all the FAA computers and also Starlink terminals for managing U.S. airspace. Like, we're going to trust this shit.
Starlink satellites, just in the last couple of weeks, 120 of them have fallen out of the sky and burned up on re-entry.
That's right. He sucks. He sucks. And I really hope, the Democrats, when we get this country back, don't, I don't know, don't keep any of these people or Musk's contracts. I want to see the day where Musk is deported, frankly, stripped of his wealth. I mean, if we were a meritocracy, they would already be on their own episode of American Greed. They wouldn't be anywhere near the halls of power. That's for sure. So
I just want him to be sent back to South Africa and let the South Africans exact justice for the blood emeralds.
Right. And think about, and we've talked about this before, how this is another thing that I don't hear on the corporate media about the whole recent drama about him pretending to be one of the top 10 gamers of Diablo 2 and Path of something in the world. Like, this is a guy that wants everybody to go hardcore, or Path of Exile 2 and Diablo 4. That's the games. That's what they're called. He pretended to be the top 10, one of the top 10 gamers of these games in the world.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And then when he had to play in front of people, I mean, where do you get the time to tweet anti-Semitic memes or impregnate 12 women, or let's say he probably wasn't there when it happened, but or do whatever the hell else he pretends to do, and be one of the top 10 Diablo 4 gamers in the world. Where and what happened was he played in front of people, and immediately the people who play the game was like, they knew that he was a fraud, that he was making rookie mistakes. He didn't know how to control his character. He was passing up easy points and things like that. They're like, how is this guy he was like in the top 10 in the world? His name is up there on the leaderboard in the world. So, and the actual gamers came out and said he's lying. This is bullshit. So, of course, how did Elon Musk respond? He took their tweets down. He banned them, suspended their accounts. He called them all kinds of names. Of course, he denied it. He trolled them. He called them juvenile pejoratives, right? Until finally, and of course, he denied it. And then he came clean. I guess it wasn't going away. And he said that, okay, yeah, I cheated. I paid people to play the game for me. This is who we are dealing with. You understand how sick that is? This guy is like 50-something years old. So the whole thing is so messed up that he can't just play a game. He has to be number one. He's got to be the number one in the world. Look at me, Ma. I'm somebody. And also forget about playing the game for relaxation or distraction or whatever, learning, having, maybe challenging yourself, solving riddles, puzzles, whatever it takes to advance in the game. But you do it by cheating, and then.
But remember, the apple falleth not far from the tree, nor the turd from the pig's rear end.
Mm-hmm.
And with that in mind, one of the things we learned early on about him when he was running the first time is that this fucker claims to be a great amateur golfer.
Oh, Trump, you're talking about. Yeah, he and Trump are alike in that way. Right. Yes, exactly.
And he cheats at golf.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The one game that you play not so much against other people, but against yourself.
Right.
Golf is a game that is largely played inside one's mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cannot be honest with yourself playing golf, that's a sure sign that you are fundamentally dishonest.
Right.
One last thing before we roll out. I've got a clip here from Chicken Noodle News. They were fact-checking Nitwit Nero's his cabinet meeting today.
Oh, really? That's good.
Everybody had to harumph a lot.
Like it was. I'm sure it's like North Korea. So
one by one, Dana Bash, hard-hitting journalist Dana Bash, and Daniel Dale, who does appear to actually be a journalist, took apart the lies that he told during the cabinet meeting. But they can't. But the thing is, they can't finish the job. They can't say, and he tells these lies because he is a liar.
Mm-hmm.
They can't say, and he tells these lies because his mind is failing before our very eyes. Can't do that. But nonetheless, they did make the effort.
Daniel, you were listening closely. There's so many things I want to ask you about. Can we just start with one of the things that we heard at the end there? Because this was just completely factually inaccurate. Saying point blank, and I'm pulling it up here, that CBS completely took her answers, Kamala Harris's answers, in the 60 Minutes interview that Donald Trump is suing over, and changed them. There were questions, and there was some controversy around it, but the idea that they just completely changed her answers, we now see the transcript. It's available thanks to the FCC. It's not true.
Yeah, that's a good fact check, Dana. There was just so much in this cabinet meeting, so let me run through some of the big ones. We heard this claim again from the president. He's been saying it over and over in the past week that the U.S. has provided Ukraine with $350 billion worth of aid, and that this is about 3 times what Europe collectively has provided. That is not true. The $350 billion number is not true, nor is the idea that the U.S. has provided way more than Europe. So according to a think tank in Germany that closely tracks this aid, it is Europe that has collectively provided more aid to Ukraine than the U.S. has. In terms of aid committed, it's about double, about $260 billion for Europe to about $125 billion for the U.S. In terms of aid allocated, it's narrower, but Europe still leads. The president also repeated this claim he's been saying over and over, that the U.S. ranks 40th out of 40 in some education rankings. I specifically asked the White House what those rankings were. They were not able to point to any of them. Appears not to exist. In fact, the U.S. Is above average in reading and science, and below average, though far from last, in math rankings, even of wealthy countries. He said the U.S. is the only country with mail-in voting. It simply isn't. He said the U.S. took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China in the tariffs he imposed in the first term.
It's
in fact,
mind-numbing.
Americans paid those tariffs. Americans make those tariff payments, and it's not true that Trump was the first president to impose tariffs on China. He said that we lose 300,000 people to fentanyl deaths every year. In fact, it's about 60,000 deaths per year. Still a tragedy, of course, horrible, but nowhere close to what he's saying. He said the European Union does not take American farm products. In fact, it is the 4th biggest market for U.S. agricultural exports, about $13 billion per year. He offered another alternate history of the European Union's formation, saying it was formed to take advantage of the U.S.
Oh,
in
my
fact, it
God.
was formed with U.S. support.
What
so
a
not
dumb
even
bastard.
close to correct. And so I don't even know where to go from here. He said there was no inflation when he left office. It was low, but it existed, about 1.4%. He said a lot of the U.S. fentanyl comes from Canada. In fact, 0.2%, about 43 pounds worth, came from Canada, so just a tiny number. And he repeated this claim we heard a lot during his presidency, saying that President Obama merely provided Ukraine with sheets. He used to say pillows in sheets rather than actual military aid. In fact, the Obama administration provided things like counter-mortar radars, armored Humvees, tactical drones, so it was not simply pillows and sheets. And I'll give you one more. He said that, the million people who didn't respond to this email, this 5 things that you did last week email from Elon Musk team may not exist. I guess it's possible the U.S. government is paying some people who don't exist, but I think it's important to note that we had numerous agency heads, department heads telling their employees not to respond. So the simpler explanation is that people were instructed not to do this rather than them being, fictional, non-existent human beings.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to ask you about. That is definitely something that when all is said and done, we're going to want the receipts on. Suggestions that the people who have not responded maybe don't exist, as you said. There was one other doozy, which was the allegation that there were Social Security checks going to people who are 150 years old. Those people got older during the cabinet meeting today. And apparently they're 200 years old. So there is that. Daniel, thank you so much for that. Before I go to my fabulous reporters.
Yeah,
Wow.
just take a moment. It went from 150 years old to 200 years old in a day's time. And so there are people getting Social Security checks who were born in 1825. I mean, I suck at math, but I know that 2025 minus 200 is 1825.
Right. But it's,
So
I wonder if...
So someone born in what, the Jesus, James Monroe, Martin Van Buren, Andrew Jackson administration.
Right.
God damn. But again, I mean, that last one, what Dana Bash called a doozy. I guess the billionaire suits won't let them actually call lies.
Right, lies. Yeah, because I also...
He is a liar.
Right. What's wrong with
he,
saying
like
that?
Satan, is the father of lies.
Well, I just wonder if any other corporate media outlet did a similar breakdown of the lies, or did they simply amplify the lies by playing it?
Well, I mean, all you have to do is name the outlet, and you get the answer. Fox News TV, Radio Rwanda. Are they gonna? No. Newsmuck. No. They'll talk about how he's Jesus and he's gonna make Jesus come down out of the clouds.
And that
he can give orders to Jesus.
Yep, and we'll hear that on amplified on Twitter, on all these other conservative spaces without any pushback at all. That's for sure. That's why, and I know we have to wrap it up, but today all over the Huffington Post, I'm sure you saw, because one of the Huffington Post, well, the Huffington Post itself was booted from the White House press room. Who cares? Okay? Why are any journalists there? Why are any actual legitimate publications in the White House press pool? What is the benefit of being there? I don't understand that either. You're nothing but a stenographer for a bunch of liars.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's it. They don't stand there and give fact checks back to these people. They sit there and they write down the lies. There's no merit to it. It doesn't add any value. What is the point of being there? Every news organization should simply not be there. Let it be all of the kooks on the internet then, because that's all that this White House deserves. They don't deserve legitimate news sources to be, or outlets. The New York Times, Washington, well, not really the Washington Post, I guess. Other news outlets, if they're trying to be legitimate news sources, what are you doing there? You denigrate yourself. You disparage yourself by being there.
But meanwhile, the Associated Press is proving themselves to be rather heroic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Taking him and his filthy administration to court to say that they don't have the right to close the doors to a national news outlet because they don't have the right to choose which news Americans get to follow.
Uh-huh.
And God bless the French. I don't know if you saw this, Tara, but they were banned from the AP in the United States was, of course, banned from the press conference with Emmanuel Macron. And AP France deputized, I guess you would say, the American reporter so that she could ask her first question under the banner of AP France.
Oh, great.
You know,
and why won't they kick her out, though? Somebody fire up the La Marseillaise. It was kind of a beautiful moment. But as for the people who went down to Magaloco and sucked the toe, right?
Yeah, they can kind of fuck off forever, as far as I'm concerned.
Right, and they will go down in history as in shame, really, in shame.
Yeah, let them own it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I need to send thanks out to an anonymous individual who just got us down to $1,210 to go to finish funding the month of February. Our anonymous friend getting us within $10 of being fully funded for this past Monday.
Oh, nice.
It's a desperate chase to finish the month, especially with what's coming in March. I mean, again, I think I was a bit optimistic in thinking I would be back on the air on March the 14th. It may take a little while for the swelling to go down and me be able to talk for 3 hours.
That's
Because I'm
true.
going to have a mouthful of stitches.
Right.
So that's an entire week of not on the air and hemorrhaging money and paying for hotels and all of that. So it's brutally important that we finish February fully funded so I can at least get these bills paid and go to work on them after I'm into my recovery from surgery here in less than 2 weeks.
Wow.
I'm
It's
so excited.
exciting. It is exciting.
I mean,
Nice.
this is going to be amazing. It's just everything. Jude asking a question. My understanding is that Canada has placed a 100% tariff on Tesla. Did I hear
Yes,
correctly?
yes.
I think you did. I
That's
think you
great.
did, Jude. Yes.
I love it. Good. They should. It only took them 5 weeks to get the entire world to hate us. So
I know.
Good going.
I know.
Less than 5 weeks, really.
And again, this is the first time in my life that Beware the Ides of March has had actual real world relevance, beyond Shakespeare.
Right.
Or Suetonius or whoever it was that started that Beware the Ides of March business.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's got $10, we can be only 4 days unfunded toward the end of for the end of February. Thanks in advance, and thanks to everybody who's chipped in this evening. This was huge.
Did you see the clip of the Wyoming?
Oh God, yes,
yeah.
I loved it.
That was the best.
The maggot getting misgendered.
Yes.
Madam Chairman.
I prefer Mr. Chairman. Well, you voted.
My favorite part of that. Okay, just so we know.
Yes. Fill people
the
in.
maggots were having a hearing in Wyoming.
Yes.
And they had previously agreed to a resolution saying that no one can be compelled to use someone's preferred pronouns.
Uh-huh.
And so a woman was recognized. She was speaking against another bill, and she said, "Thank you, Madam Chairman," and went on. And the guy, this neck-bearded freak, it takes a minute because he's a little slow, another mediocre white man. And he goes, I prefer you call me Mr. Chairman. Well, but see, and she replied, well, but see, y'all already passed a rule that says nobody has to call you by your preferred pronouns.
You can't be compelled. Exactly.
I cannot be compelled to use your preferred pronouns. And then to show just how goddamn dumb this mediocre maggot is, he said, well, my preferred pronoun is chairman. Hey, stupid fucking maggot who doesn't even understand. I wonder if he's ever signed off on a bill to make English the official language.
Right.
You stupid fucking maggot. You goddamn dumbass.
Right.
You
And then
ineffable moron.
Yeah, and then
chairman is not a pronoun.
And then he goes, we're talking about preferred pronoun, because she pushed back. We're talking about preferred pronouns. A lot of people are, and then he goes, we're talking about preferred pronoun. Because he's got no, he's just humming. Yeah, we're talking about preferred pronouns.
He's being hoisted on his own petard.
So that's what every Democrat should do. Just misgender these people.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Madam Speaker.
Yeah, and then he goes, we're talking about preferred pronouns. We're talking about preferred pronouns. A lot of people are, we're talking about preferred pronouns. I prefer to be called chairman, trench. Like, that's who cares what you prefer? You voted to say that no one can be compelled to vote, to use your preferred pronouns. So why are you protesting? Madam Chairman. Right?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And see, that needs to happen. It has happened once after they misgendered Sarah McBride and she wouldn't stand up for herself.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that.
Yeah, a cis woman Democrat stood up and referred to the Speaker pro tem, a woman, as Mr. Chairman.
Good.
Repeatedly.
Wow. These scumbags. What a bunch of scumbags they are. And they have, I mean, all this is the assault on trans people.
They expose their own stupidity.
Yeah. But I mean,
every blessed day.
They do. They don't. I don't know. They never tire of being on the wrong side of history and humanity and decency, because this, Robyn, I know we're in a very difficult time, and it sucks, and a lot of people are getting hurt, but we will win. This isn't going to, no, trans people aren't going away. Trans people, just like what happened with gay people, regular old gays or whatever, eventually it's going to be a non-issue.
And you can't terrify people into submission against their own fundamental nature.
Yes. And
if murdering us in Germany was not enough to deter other people,
right. That's it.
They're not gone.
Trans people are not going away, and everyone, and in fact, what they're doing, because of all their bullshit and hate, maybe they're causing people to maybe look into it. Normal people who don't quite understand. Okay, they educate themselves.
And one thing this is exposing is that we do have a lot of educational work to do just to teach the maggots what a fucking pronoun is.
Right. Right. Well, they don't know where to put the apostrophe or whether to put in it, which to use.
I know you like Reddit. There is a hilarious Reddit out there, subreddit.
Oh, yeah?
Apostrophe gore.
Oh, good. It's all maggots, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it's people just wildly and obviously misusing apostrophes.
Oh, great. I love it. I'm looking it up. Apostrophe gore.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun. And Cynthia says, you can kill all of us trans people. Well, don't worry. We'll make more. Fuck you, maggots. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing. Trans people come from cis people having sex. It just happens sometimes.
Well,
my parents both had brown eyes. I have blue.
Right.
Because they had a recessive blue-eyed gene, and they each contributed theirs to me.
Yeah, it happens. Things happen. I mean, and it's not going, people are going to be people. Trans people have always existed, and more people will understand, and it's not a big deal. We were getting there, it seemed to me. That's why the maggots, pulled the hate ripcord on it.
If you want to, if you actually want to go into it, a lot of people trace the current era back to 2014, when Time magazine declared the year of trans.
Oh wow! Okay, well there you go. I didn't know that. Okay.
With oh God, why can't I remember her name? From Orange Is the New Black. The brilliant woman.
Oh yes.
Who starred? Yeah, she was on the cover.
She's an actress. She's been in a bunch of stuff.
And Time declared it the year, and suddenly the mediocre white men started shitting their pants, and the tax exempt Christian grifts went, wait a minute. The gay people have whipped our ass. The black people have whipped our ass. Everybody's whipped our ass. Look, there's not many of them. We can whip their ass. Yay!
Right. Well, they knew the old bang for their buck attacking gay people wasn't paying off as much. So the trans people will really tickle those bigoted funny bones, because it attacks, they're the PP police as it is, but it also goes against their whole hierarchy, their need for hierarchy. If you could just change your gender, what does that mean? What is my role? Where do I stand on the hierarchy?
But just remember, allies. Just remember, every time you use someone's preferred pronoun, a Republican's dick falls off.
And it's not that hard to do. Just do it.
Oh, none of them are that hard.
Oh, they're not that hard. Yep, that's right.
That's why Leon Scum uses IVF.
Right. Well, here's another leopard that ate a maggot's face. A new latest post. I've been a steadfast conservative for decades. While I was initially skeptical of Trump, I've since become a devoted supporter, fully embracing his leadership and vision. Maggot. Wow. But now, after being laid off from the GSA, I find myself in a tough spot. Struggling,
Poor baby.
Yeah, right. Struggling to stay afloat and wondering how I can continue to support the cause when I can barely afford to live. Any advice from fellow patriots? Any advice, patriots? Because how about get a clue, wake up? You're not a patriot. Trump's not a patriot. You don't do this to your fellow Americans. You don't do this to the country you pretend to love. If you loved your country, you want it to be better, to grow. You don't want, your national parks to be overflowing with shit. You don't want the IRS to be not funded or not. You want to be able to, when you call your local whatever, you want them to be responsive. That's the kind of country, that's a something that, don't you think we deserve? It makes me think that it's sort of like not just a learned helplessness, but it's a beaten dog mentality where the American people, they're beating us down and beating us down. Yeah. How much do you have to hate yourself to be okay with Musk turning our national parks into an embarrassment, you know what I mean? Into an eyesore, or anything else, to stop our funding of research on Alzheimer's and cancer. And, how much do you have to hate yourself to think this is okay, to accept this from your government?
I know.
I don't know.
I know.
I don't know.
Well,
all right.
Again, they hear only through their buttocks.
Yeah. So what I wish I had the responses to this maggot. Any advice from fellow patriots? How about pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you lazy bum? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. How about,
what happened to your bootstraps there, maggot?
Right?
Yeah.
It's just
Jude,
incredible.
From Jude, a picture of the compassionate Buddha.
Oh.
Here's a reminder for you. Jude says, requires discipline and empathy. Love you both.
Love you,
Here's a
Jude.
reminder for you in 2025. Don't chase anyone. Don't beg someone to stay. Know your worth. Save space for people who matter.
Yes.
Accept what cannot be changed. Leave what isn't for you. And love yourself.
Thank you, Jude. That's
I've
great word.
I've been on a 5-year journey of learning to love myself. And it's nice when you get there. Tara, I'm so glad that we did this after all.
All right, me too.
I love our conversations.
We'll have to too.
We'll have to figure out what we'll do. Like,
right.
Let's see, what day would this be? Hang on, let me look at the calendar. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do on March the 19th.
Okay.
I think we'll probably, we'll do another broadcast on on March the 5th. But I won't be on air on March the 12th. I'll be sitting in a hospital room somewhere in the wilds of North Carolina.
Well, I just got a text from Joey saying that they passed the tax cuts. They just passed them. Teeing up enormous tax and spending cuts, targeting Medicaid, food aid, everything that matters. I guess.
If they'll go, the MAGAts will go on Fox and say, listen, you goddamn moochers, you don't need food assistance.
Nope.
You don't need to go to the doctor when you're sick. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, for Christ's sake.
I guess Granny's coming home. The granny that's in the nursing home with Alzheimer's. Yeah. Make room on the couch for her. Motherfuckers.
Well, this is just the beginning.
Yep.
Okay?
It's only 5 weeks and 3 days, and this is what they've managed to do.
Yeah, but there's a lot of shit that can happen. between now and March the 14th. That's what they're dealing with right now. And,
right.
you know, the MAGAts may have passed it, but I doubt if they passed it with any Democratic votes.
Nope.
And it's gonna when it goes to the Senate, it will go to a Senate that will handle it by reconciliation. So it only takes a majority vote. There's no possibility of filibuster. But everybody isn't as wild-eyed as the MAGAts in the House are.
Yeah, that's true.
So the Senate still has a say in this.
Wow.
But they had to do it because it's the only way they can give the trillionaires or the billionaires their $1 trillion tax cut. There's nowhere to get the money from otherwise.
It was only one Republican voted against it.
And this, of course, it's not just Granny coming home from the nursing home, Tara. This is hospitals in rural areas closing.
Exactly, in all the maggot areas.
Yeah. I mean, they've already got a crisis in Alabama because they never accepted the Medicare expansion.
That's right.
And Texas loses hospitals all the time.
Yeah.
Because freedom.
And with all these diseases, it's really a perfect storm it's a real shit.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a way to make sure that only the MAGAts got measles,
I know, I would be all for it. Really,
probably sign on.
But I feel bad. I mean, this poor child that had no say in the matter.
And Whalehead Dead Bear Brainworm said, well, you know, we get measles outbreaks every year, whatever.
There hasn't been a death from measles since, what was it, 2019? 19. Yeah, a child.
Yeah, that was the last measles outbreak. By the way, who was president then?
Who was president? Bush?
2019?
I don't remember. What?
2019, 6 years ago?
Oh, I don't know.
Nero.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. I'm for
He's
a second I thought I was thinking of 2009. I don't even know.
No, 2019. And thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian, so very much.
Yeah,
we are now down.
Wow.
We are fully funded for this past Monday. Now all we have to do is fund yesterday, today, Thursday, and Friday, and we'll be fully funded for February. Fingers crossed for a community-made miracle. Thank you, Brian.
Wait a minute. Somebody's saying, learn how to screen share. JD on the chat, Tarabuster, learn how to screen share. What am I screen sharing for next time? I don't know. I'm asking him. Tell me, what are you talking about, JD?
Nothing.
Learn how to screen. I am screen sharing. I know how to screen share, but what should I have screen shared? Just let me know.
I don't know. I mean, I'm doing video, but yet I have never seen you during the entire program.
Well, I don't know what to say. That's because you're on Skype. If we did it a different way, you would be able to see the feed.
You always show when we do video. We're always
the
on
film.
Skype.
I didn't play that film. You didn't play that film either. It was just audio, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a clip from Glass Onion, but
yeah, it was a clip from Glass Onion.
The audio was all that mattered.
I didn't have the film control, nor was there a accompanying video of it.
I don't mean to be a bitch, but everybody's a producer.
I'm just saying, JD is one of our greatest Tarabusters.
I know, but there's a lot that goes into this that people don't necessarily understand.
You're preaching to the choir here.
That's why one of these days, when I go to video, it will be with a hardware solution.
Well, okay, if you insist. You're making it more complicated than it has to be.
No, I'm not. I want to own the machine and not be beholden to somebody, to a platform that somebody else owns or software that somebody else owns.
Okay. Hey,
I hope
lady, whatever.
Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful evening.
All right, my love. Thank you.
And it was great getting together.
Yes.
Thank you for reminding me.
Well, thank you. I thought you hated me or something. I didn't hear from you, so.
Quit that. I usually wait to hear from you because I don't know. I never know when you're working or not.
Well, you should. What do you care? You can always just send a text. Who cares?
Okay, I can do that.
Who cares?
Love you.
All right, my friend. I love you. Love you, girl.
Bye.
See you later.
Love you, girl. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And